welcome into the Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Glenn Clark, Kyle Ottenheimer, and of course our lovely and talented host, Mr. Ken Zalis. KZ, just what we wanted. Unexpected Week 4 buys. Yeah! Awesome.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but nobody should be surprised. We talked about this in the preseason.
That's why you needed to have more roster spots.
We talked about it. It's why I preached IR spots, why I preached more roster spots. That's why drafts should have been longer this year. And here we are. It's the first time. It's going to create some havoc even later down the year, because who knows when these games are going to be made up. Saw a report.
Everybody seems to think it's going to be the Ravens.
7-8, somewhere around there. But again, if you draft in a way where you where you kind of pay attention to bye weeks and do that along the season, it kind of messes you up because different teams are now on bye weeks at different times. So
does anybody still actually do that though?
There are people, and there are when you read articles from people around the internet that are really good at this, they say it's something in the back half.
I know you're supposed to do it. I just don't believe.
I don't believe in doing it. I've never believed in doing it. I say draft the best players, and we'll work it out later. But it does create some havoc this week. Look. Besides all the injuries and the people that are still questionable, now we're having to deal with, look, we have a game tonight, and there are people that, you could play, but you were hoping to, wait on, for Tennessee. Was A.J. Brown going to play? Was Deontay Johnson going to play? On the good side, if the game is made up in the fantasy football regular season,
you're
week 7 8,
getting A.J. Brown.
You're getting A.J. Brown. You're not losing Deontay Johnson possibly this week. So that's a positive. If you're a James Conner owner and you're worried about his workload and him getting injured, he's got 2 weeks to rest now. That's a positive thing. Same thing for Derrick Henry. I mean,
but there will probably be other issues that will come up.
There will be, but you can spin it on a positive way a little bit.
I'm trying to.
Derrick Henry's going 30 carries every week. 2 weeks off may not be the worst thing in the world if you're a Henry owner. It'll suck for this week, but not ideal, but hey, here we are. We got to deal with it. People on Twitter, when Twitter's deciding to work today, complaining about, this, that, and their deal with it. This is not what we're signing up for. Yeah, this is what we did. I mean, there are people that purposely didn't play fantasy football this year because they didn't want to have to deal with this. You chose to play with it. Your league rules are your league rules. Stop complaining to commissioners. And get over it.
No doubt. All right, hey, this show is brought to you by the U.S. Army. What's your warrior? Become it in the Army. Whether you want to cure diseases or develop technology the world doesn't know exists, the Army is where all of that can happen. Find out more by contacting your local Army recruiter and follow us on social media at U.S. Army Baltimore. Ask yourself, what's your warrior? And go to goarmy.com/Baltimore to find out. If you have questions for KZ, get them in the comments right here on Facebook Live. We will get to them here in a bit. Let's talk about some big picture stuff. A week ago, we were trying to figure out what's going on in the San Francisco backfield, and now, Ken Zalis, I ask you this question. What's going on in the San Francisco backfield?
I told you all Jeffrey Wilson's going to score 2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Now, it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, but, I mean, this is what you're going to have until Mostert is back and healthy. I mean, he's the guy when he's healthy. Now, McKinnon has earned the right to get a couple of carries, and whenever anybody's hurt, Wilson's going to pop up his head and steal a red zone touchdown every once in a while. But you're in a timeshare right now. I mean, the matchup this week is good enough for to play both of them. I'm gonna gather.
Where are they ranked for you?
I have to look at that, but I mean they're not over ranked. But you're playing Philadelphia. I assume we're still going to have Nick Mullins, but you look at McKinnon's 23rd for me, Wilson's 31. So RB2 range, RB3 range. So I mean, and that's what happens in a timeshare, and that's what I think it is. It happened weird the way they ran it. I mean, all the early carries went to McKinnon, and I'm like, what the heck's going on here?
Jeff Wilson.
You know, where's Jeff Wilson?
I went ahead and dropped Jermichael Hasty, by the way.
Yeah, I did too. But
that.
you know what? But those are the type of ads that you never know if it works out. I dropped them too. You know, had them for a week, wasn't going to play them. Okay, let's go pick up the next person I'm probably not going to play.
Yep.
So to see how it works out, because this is try to stay ahead of everybody else in the waiver wire moves. If somehow McKinnon, who has injury history, went down, you already had Hasty, and you were jobbing. So sometimes these things work out.
Oh, I'm not mad that I did it.
No,
I just went ahead and
I did too. Oh,
he's
the guy you drop now. Absolutely.
Let's talk about Justin Jefferson.
We've been waiting for that, haven't we? I mean,
really glad I dropped him before last week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been waiting for. When they drafted him, we were talking about all the high-ranked wide receivers and Judy and Lamb, and always wanted to mention, you know, the guy that may be in the best situation because he was stepping right into a starting gig, obviously, was Justin Jefferson. Now, nothing went right for 2 weeks, but boy, did he make up for it last week while he was on everybody's bench. But, yeah, I mean, he was probably the top waiver wire pickup of the week. If it was not him, it was probably T. Higgins. From the wide receiver standpoint. But he's a guy, I mean, especially with the injuries that we have at the wide receiver spot and with the two teams now off, he's a guy that you have to put into your lineups. He's probably a wide receiver 3 flex type guy most situations, but hopefully there's some trust now associated with him. So right now, I have him in the flex category, but he could move up depending on how some of these injuries kind of work out. But must add, I'm playing him in leagues that I have him this week because I have no choice. But, you know, look, you may have also seen his best game of the year. Let's understand that. Not that he's not going to have other good games, but you may
have 175 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Just understand that. Right. I mean, you know,
what do you have, 36 points or something like that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, I would look at him as a 6 to 7 catch guy a week that you're hoping for somewhere between 70 and 80 yards, and if you get the touchdown, great.
That sounds about right. That sounds like a double-digit points that you're counting on.
It sounds like a wide receiver 3 or flex.
How concerned? I feel like we're now at like the quarter pole of the NFL season, and we have to start having conversations about concern for guys not that are injured.
I know.
But that just haven't really done anything. And I'm going to start that list with Joe Mixon.
Yeah, you could start it there too.
Because I don't want it. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Joe Mixon, I in one league, somebody thinks that I'm going to be so frustrated with Joe Mixon that I'm willing to give him up. Like, they literally messaged me this week and tried to trade me A.J. Green and Russell Gage for Joe Mixon. Yeah. Like, I'm obviously not doing that.
And that's what you should do if you're trying to get Joe Mixon. You should try to see how frustrated the owner is.
Right. But I guess where are we with Joe Mixon, for example?
You know, it's really frustrating because if you look at his touch percentage, it's pretty good. I mean, he's getting 17 to 20 touches of the football. The problem is, this is a Gio Bernard problem who will not go away. He's becoming Frank Gore for me. He won't go away. Joe Mixon is really, really good catching the ball out of the backfield. And you want to get the ball in his hands. I mean, he's averaging a ridiculous number through the air on his catches. I mean, I believe it's over 10 yards a reception. But for some reason, and because he's not on a good football team, they get down and they start in throw mode and they bring Bernard in.
Yep.
And they go away from the rush really, really quick. Look, I was a big believer. Joe Mixon was in my top 10 running backs. He was a first-round pick for me in many leagues. I have him in many leagues. I'm as frustrated as you are. I'm looking to see what I can get for him.
So, okay, what is reasonable to, like, obviously, as I said, I'm not trading Joe Mixon for A.J. Green and Russell Gage because
you're not.
Nobody wants, I don't want that. But what is a reasonable, what would you be willing to trade Joe Mixon for at this point?
if we're going running back to running back, if somebody said, I'll give you David Johnson for your Joe Mixon.
Right.
Okay. I'm there. I can. It's not a unreasonable request.
I've done this before where, like, I'd rather you're mad about something,
Right,
I'm mad
I'm
about
mad about
something. Let me
something.
look at something different.
If you're looking at do you want my problem for your problem type
Right.
deal. DJ Moore is a good target.
I've got both of them in the press box. league.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but if I'm
How you doing in that league?
And Julio.
Yeah.
And DJ Shark.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And how's that league looking for you? Right now?
And Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Boy, what? It sounded like a pretty good draft. For what
It was
it's
a great
worth.
draft.
And Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my!
yeah.
How many
Should
wins
I
do you
keep
have?
going? One.
I think he
Oh,
beat
that's
me.
I
remarkable.
beat KZ.
Beat me.
That is something.
Unbelievable. Things like that. If you want Cooper Kupp is a guy. Some people, I know he had a 1 out of 3 solid weeks. If you want to go there, things like that. It's really difficult. You're not going to get value for Joe Mixon if you're trading him, and that's the frustrating part of this because this week Joe Mixon could have his first 100-yard game against Jacksonville. We'll see. If he doesn't, then his value goes even further down. About people will just be give me a player that can get me points at this point. I would start going after other people's problems. People that Jerry Jeudy would be a guy. Does he have some upside? Does he have enough upside on a week in and week basis as the number one wide
Sure.
receiver in Denver now that I could do that? Could I get a Josh Kelly with a Jeudy for Mixon? Somebody,
I got both of those in the press box league, too.
Something.
Quite the island of misfit toys over there.
Something like that is where we are with Mixon. You're not getting.
All right, who's the guy that's struggling through 3 weeks that you most say do not give up on? Do not trade this guy away. I'm still a believer in.
Drake.
Deshaun Watson would be the top of my list.
Okay.
I think things start turning around really quick, like this week.
Kenyon Drake.
For him. Okay, so I had this Kenyon Drake problem before the season because it was circumstance why he was the guy in Arizona at the end of the year. It wasn't
Didn't change the production.
I understand that, but when Chase Edmonds doesn't get hurt, Kenyon Drake isn't the thing that he was, which is why he wasn't a first-round pick for me. He's just not.
Still getting 20 carries a game.
And doing nothing with him.
I know you, KZ, and for you,
I know it is. Look, I have him. He's going against Carolina. He's top 10 for me this week. Carolina can't stop anybody on the ground. If he doesn't do it this week, I'm done. I'm done with it. But I'm not giving up on him yet because that offense runs so many plays. But 20 carries for him in that offense is
should be gold.
it should be gold, and it's not. Guys that I'm willing to take a chance on right now are David Montgomery's a guy. He's been disappointing. I'm not giving him up, and now with Tariq Cohen out, they have to really rely upon him. So I'm not giving up on him. Guys that I haven't been on him the entire year, and I'm still not going to be on him because he's a touchdown dependent, slow, hurt running back is Todd Gurley. I'm not. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him long term. If I owned Todd Gurley, I would have tried to trade him as soon as he scored the touchdown last week. Let's find somebody. He's got name recognition. He had some production. Don't look now, but maybe he looked like he was in a timeshare to me last week with Brian Hill, who looked also really good. But even before the touchdown, it was like 7 carries to 7 carries. So I'm worried about him. I'm worried about all the Ravens running backs. Can't start them all. Can't trust any of them. They don't get enough work. You don't know.
Week to week, who's
you're
gonna
playing.
be,
You're playing the guessing game. The guy that looks the best is the guy that I feel the least confidence in week to week, and that's Gus Edwards because all he does is produce, but they don't give him enough touches.
Yep.
Even when he is producing. So
and he's still not really much out of the backfield. He's still not really going to get you in a PPR or anything.
No, I mean he's a standard league
Right.
touchdown dependent guy, but my God, he looks great every time we see him play. He looks fantastic.
It's all he's ever done.
Guys, I'm ready to give up on totally. DeAndre Swift, hate to say it, not giving them the ball.
I got him in the press box league.
They don't trust him. For whatever.
Good players in that league.
Edelman,
Oh boy.
Tannehill.
Oh.
You can get rid of all the Giants running backs except Freeman. That everybody went and spent all their fab on the pickup. That way, stunned me that Freeman even played. Stunned me even more that he led the backfield in touches. You can get rid of all of that. Matt Breida can go away. Sony Michel, a guy that maybe. Finally got something going. We'll see how that works once.
You're giving up on James White, KZ.
I'm never giving up on James White, but right now, is
he a sneaky start?
I don't even know if he plays this week. I'll be honest. I mean that's a completely different situation, and I'm never going to give up on him because of the way they use him. And you saw what Rex Burkhead did. I mean, that's the James White role.
I was leading you into it. I was giving you a softball.
Yeah,
I know. Talk about James White a little bit.
Never. But I just wide receivers. I mean, the biggest one is DJ Moore. I don't get the Robbie Anderson thing.
Shark is a little like you're waiting out whatever the injury
hurt.
is, right?
Yeah, he was hurt. I can't. There's all these guys that are hurt. AJ Brown has been hurt. Shark has been hurt. What are you going to do? You can't give up on those guys. You know what the talent is. DJ Moore, I'm really worried about because they're not using him like they used him last year. He is getting targets. That's the good part, but. Now they're not sending him deep because they have Robbie Anderson. They're not handing them the ball on any end arounds anymore because they have Curtis Samuel. It's just like, okay, so now I have this really nice wide receiver who's a possession guy that we're throwing the ball to 8 or 9 times a game, and because my quarterback isn't the most accurate, I'm only getting 4 receptions.
He's only inaccurate. The DJ Moore is the weird thing. Like he's throwing He's got a really good quarterback ready targeting everyone else.
Well, we'll see. We'll just see. We'll just see what it is. I mean, I have him as a low end wide receiver 2 this week. I'm not. I don't think last year was just a mirage, but this was my concern. I probably had him lower in draft rankings than most because I just was just worried about this. I didn't really know what to expect from Teddy Bridgewater and. You always have Christian McCaffrey getting 30 touches a game, and even Mike Davis came in, and it's a system thing. I mean, McCaffrey's a really good player, but this is what they want to do. He got 7-8 catches last week. So.
All right, let's grab a break here. When we come back in, we are going to get your questions answered. So get them in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. We will pose them to KZ next. It's the Press Box Fantasy Football Show.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is available now. Our fall seasonal menu is available for dine-in, dine-out, on the patio, or to-go. It's a new season, so enjoy new flavors. Try their new chicken schnitzel or the delicious Prussian pretzel rolls. Glory Days is open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. Visit glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. From the Glory Days Grill family, stay healthy and positive during this challenging time in our community.
With Wise Market's lowest price guarantee, we guarantee the lowest price in the area. If a local competitor advertises any of our tagged lowest price guarantee items at a lower price, we'll give you double the difference with purchase.
Eat better, spend less, that's Wise.
Looking to get one up on the competition? Supercharge your computer skills. CCBC has classes at all levels from beginner to expert coder. Explore Microsoft Office, gaming, or even ethical hacker. Maybe hardware is your gig. Become A+ certified. All tuition free if you qualify. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/quickreg.
If you're looking to make an impact, there's no better place to do that than the the U.S. Army. Whether your goal is to fight and cure deadly diseases, develop technologies, or seek adventures across the globe, the Army is where all of that can happen, and so much more. The Army is a team of 1 million individuals working together to take on the most complex problems in the nation and the world, and to win. Ask yourself, what's your warrior? Go to army.com/Baltimore to find out. To learn more, contact your local Army recruiter and find us on social media at U.S. Army Baltimore.
Back in here on the Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Always appreciate being on top of things. All right, let's get to some questions for KZ. Let's do this. John in Little Rock up first. With Mostert likely out and Hunt questionable, would you start Darrell Henderson? I'm assuming that's T. Higgins or Anthony Miller in the flex.
Henderson. Akers is still out. Looked great, even though Brown was back last week. They ran Henderson. Was the pass catching guy. Looked terrific. Decent matchup. Let's go.
He says PPR Graham or Thomas. I'm trying to figure out if that's
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham, I assume.
Or Logan Thomas.
Oh, Logan Thomas. Okay, I was trying to. I forgot Logan Thomas.
Look, I get the Logan. I mean, I have Logan Thomas on my sleeper list this week, just because he's getting almost double-digit targets every week. But how can you not play Jimmy Graham? I mean, I found the youth, I guess, is in Chicago these days. Play Graham until he's not useful anymore. Right now, play the hot hand.
Let's have a conversation because it's going to get to a question from Nick Kelly, and I've got it. How much are we riding the James Robinson train?
Man.
How high is James Robinson?
He's 9 on my list this week.
He's nearly an RB1 now.
No, he is an RB1.
So it's obvious that I'm playing him over Joe Mixon at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make this easy.
Yeah.
Kamara, Elliott, Cook, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, Nick Chubb. That's the list, folks.
So this will answer Nick Kelly's question for what it's worth. Was he playing James Robinson over Josh Jacobs?
Yes. Look, tougher matchup. Cincinnati doesn't stop the run. I mean, they're giving him the ball 20 times. They're throwing the ball out of the backfield. He's scoring touchdowns every week. The offense isn't terrible. And guess what? Maybe DJ Chark comes back to make things even more interesting. Look, I'm going down on the J. He's in every one of my DFS lineups. He's in any one. There are 8 people I would not start him over. And Jacobs is not one of them this week.
That is remarkable. All right. From Tim. Tim wants to know, with A.J. Brown not playing, I either play Marquez Valdez-Scantling or I can pick up one of the following off the waiver wire: Ayuk, Watkins, Preston Williams, or Cole Beasley. Oh, he says also interested in T. Higgins and Scotty Miller.
Higgins isn't a bad start this week. Ayuk's going to be the top one of that list for me. Played really well last week. Good matchup. Mullins had an eye for him, mostly. We may get Kittle back, but Kittle is not going to be 100% even if he is back. Not that you don't play Kittle if he's back, but you're kind of forced to. I like Ayuk over of that group.
Okay, now he asked, does he drop Valdez-Scantling or Rex Burkhead to get him?
I mean, I guess you're dropping MVS right now. I mean, I hate to
say
say
he
it.
didn't produce last week with no Adams.
I know
This was the end for me.
Well, but you see, but the Adams thing maybe even helps him because you take. I get it, but at this point where we are, if you have no chance of playing a guy in a week, they're droppable. And that's just the way lineups have to be right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's more of a chance, because I have a similar situation in certain places, there's more of a chance of me throwing Burkhead in a lineup if James White doesn't play this week than there is MVS. I don't know how desperate I'd have to be to start MVS this week.
You just think there are better options. Yeah. Ben in San Francisco wants to know, is he playing Russell Gage if he clears concussion protocol or Brandon Cooks?
You're playing Gage if he clears over Cooks. Cooks had the type of injury that you can play through, but doesn't allow him to be as explosive as you want him to be. Fuller's the better guy. I mean, I like the matchup, but the way is so many contingencies. Is Julio Jones back? Is he not back? On the surface, it's Gage. Let's see if Jones plays, though.
This is such a great question from Chris. I want to know if I should play the Denver defense against New York or the New York defense against Denver. He also throws in that another option would be to play Green Bay.
I actually like the Jet defense tonight.
Well, either of them work.
But they're starting Brett Rippon. I mean,
I hear you.
he already threw he played like a quarter and threw an interception. The Denver's best players are not
of nothing
playing.
Nothing Jets.
Well, I understand that argument. His point is to not play any Jets ever. Like,
well,
I understand.
but this is a defense. I mean, we used to say the same thing about the Ravens. Don't play anyone on the Ravens except the kicker and the defense.
Yeah, well Jets aren't that either.
The Jets' defense isn't terrible. The front four, they're not terrible. They're not good. If you're giving me one or the other, I'm playing the Jets.
Okay.
All right. So this group of running backs start 2: Gurley, Drake, McKinnon.
Gurley, Drake, McKinnon. It's McKinnon's so tough for me. We're playing Drake. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, matchup's good enough.
By the way, thank you, Phil. He really went through this quite well. He laid this question out. There's layers to his question, but he laid it out quite well.
Okay. Gurley is my second choice.
So Drake and Gurley are
Yes.
here too. Okay, now
Now.
from this group of wide receivers.
I'm going to wind up playing all three of them, I can tell.
I don't know. From this group of wide receivers needs to play 2: Metcalf,
Yes.
Edelman, Landry, Judy.
Landry and Metcalf.
Okay, now. So we're left with
Judy.
McKinnon, Edelman, and Judy for 2 flex spots.
Edelman and McKinnon.
Edelman and McKinnon. Okay.
I mean, I want to start Judy.
Well done, Phil. Well done.
I want to
putting that
start.
together.
I really want to start Judy, but because
But you also
Ribbit-
hang on. You also like having some skin in the game. I absolutely operate this way. Where like, if there's going to be a Thursday night game, I'd like to have something going.
I want to start the best players. But my thing with Rippon is that when he came into the game, he threw 7 straight balls at Judy. I don't think that's going to happen again, and I'm having a tough time trusting Brett Rippon tonight.
I have a hard time trusting Brett Rippon ever.
Guest
Really?
of our show.
Oh, right, because he was the Shrine Game or whatever that one year, and we were joking about how his sister had been the quarterback in Baltimore. We were like, we want to talk about the famous quarterback in your family. Your sister, who played for the lingerie, it was his cousin, maybe not his sister. His cousin played for the lingerie football team in Baltimore. I do remember that. Hey, really quickly, today's show also brought to you by Glory Days Grill. The Oktoberfest menu is available now at Glory Days Grill. The chicken schnitzel, the Prussian pretzel rolls are on the menu. Glory Days is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. to serve you. Visit glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. Kyle, go ahead while I reset.
So, Mark Ingram, Myles Gaskin,
Mark Ingram, Myles Gaskin.
DJ Shark.
I mean,
How many of them?
I mean, if Shark plays, he plays.
If Shark plays, you're going. Is the floor of what is Gaskin's floor? You think against Seattle?
PPR and non-PPR.
Half point PPR. Your favorite.
His floor is 12.
It's a pretty solid floor.
It's a solid floor.
So if you're looking for a safer play and the floor
He's
is
safe.
an appeal
He's safe.
this week, then
Yes, he's safe.
Gaskin would be
He gets touches. He's involved in the pass game. I know he lost 1 touch from the half-yard line to Howard last week, but
Well, he's losing all the touches on the goal line. That's kind of
goal
expected.
line, not in the red zone. Let's understand. He's inside the 5, yes.
By the way, Yahoo, why is Tariq Cohen not eligible for IR?
I've
They
already
need to solve these problems.
both them and ESPN are all screwed up today. Trust me, I've
My
already gone
God.
through this. I know. I was trying to make a move, but it's telling me that Dallas Goedert, who went on the IR last week, I have to move him into an active because he's no longer eligible. It's a whole thing.
So then would you play Shark over Parker?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right. Parker
Parker
or Jonathan Taylor.
Taylor.
Parker over Metcalf or Hill. I think it's clearly no.
No.
Now that we have Jonnu Smith out of the discussion, I need a tight end. I picked up Ali Cox because, why not? I also picked up Gronk. Who is the play this week? Mo Ali Cox?
Well, it's
Why are you
not
looking at me
Gronk.
like that? Gronk had a good game last week.
No, he didn't.
He had seven targets,
I understand that.
and he had played 92% of the snaps.
That's because they're using him as a blocking tight
It's
end.
increased significantly, KZ. I'm just reading you facts.
I'll take the guy that scored 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
So Ali Cox, you are somebody who you think he's a hold even if you don't need a tight end kind of thing. Would you say, wait, Ali Cox hasn't scored 3 tight ends in the last – he scored 1 tight end. He scored 1 touchdown.
Each of the last 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
He had 100 yards the week before.
Oh, he didn't score a touchdown? My
Yeah.
bad.
So you
still
like
going.
him.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Gronk is not usable yet for me.
Fair enough. Would you drop him if you don't need him?
If I don't need him, I'm dropping him because nobody's rushing to pick him up.
Fair enough. Okay, probably should pull up that Yahoo team I've been discussing.
All right, in the meantime, somebody wants to know Green Bay's defense or Jacksonville's defense?
Jacksonville have a defense.
I mean,
Green Bay. I don't love either one, but Green Bay.
who do you love that might be available?
No one.
Okay, so
No one.
so it comes down to Green Bay's defense or Jacksonville's
Actually,
defense.
as far as a defense one, it's the Jets this week.
That's the team to go get. Would you? Okay, so I've got Green Bay slated to play in one of my leagues. Would you play Green Bay, Cincinnati, or Seattle?
No, Green Bay.
Okay, all right.
KZ,
I don't
Ayuk,
know that either of those other two teams have a defense.
I hear you.
Ayuk or Golden Tate?
They're right there together.
Or N'Keal Harry?
No, throw another one. You want to throw anybody else? Another
In that range? No.
Another one in that range.
No.
Harry's actually the guy I have highest.
He's the guy I trust least.
Okay.
All right, won't be taking your advice on that one.
It's okay.
Yahoo League. This is
all
where
good.
it's a mess. I have to play Wentz because
Okay.
there's no Tannehill.
Okay.
At wide receiver, I need to choose 3 of DJ Moore, Julian Edelman, Julio Jones, DJ Shark, Jerry Jeudy, and Brandon Ayuk.
Well, you're not going to play Judy because you have to wait to see what happens with Chark and Jones.
Sure.
And you have other options. It's Chark, Jones, and who's the first guy you
Moore.
mentioned? And Moore, if they all play.
I drafted those as a solid trio of receivers, and I felt
sounds
pretty
really,
good about
really
it, right?
good.
All right, at running back, would you play Gaskin in a full-point PPR over the likes of Ingram, McKinnon, and Kelly? I think the answer is yes.
Ingram, McKinnon, Kelly, yes.
Now, McKinnon or Kelly or Ingram for a flex, or Ayuk, I guess.
Kelly.
Or Edelman, I guess.
Take Edelman.
Edelman over McKinnon?
Yeah, in a full-point PPR, yes.
Fair enough. I believe that does it for me.
All right. Last one's from Dave. Dave wants to know wide receiver. I'm starting Kupp and Metcalf. My other options for a third are Landry, Fuller, and Justin Jefferson. Oh, he says Scotty Miller too.
Well, he's hurt. Full-point PPR, did you say?
It is, yes.
Landry.
Then he says flex between Fuller, Jefferson, and Deion Lewis? No.
Fuller.
Fuller. So you're just going on about Justin Jefferson a second ago. But
I am, but you got to look. Fuller against Minnesota. Giddy up. If he, I own him in one league. If he's a bust this week, I'm dropping him.
Adrian Peterson or
Why?
Antonio Gibson.
Gibson.
Even against the Ravens?
Yeah. You know what the Ravens don't do well?
That's fair.
Cover pass
Yeah,
catching
that's fair.
running backs.
All right. I think that's good. What else do you have coming? Or what else people need to know? I guess to start with that. What else people need to know before this week?
I think we've handled what they need to know. There's the game today. There's a few people that I know people want to use. if you have to, you have to. I mean, you got to make these decisions. You can't automatically trust that Julio's going to for sure play, or Adams is going to play, or Chark's going to play. So you do what you got to do. I mean, work it out later, but don't. They're better than what's on the waiver wire. So if you have to play Judy or a Fant tonight because you're waiting on a Kittle or a Julio, play the people that you know are going to play.
Okay. What's coming up at PressBoxOnline.com?
DFS is up. We're really good, doing very well in DFS on FanDuel. We're struggling a little bit on DraftKings right now because we keep on taking people that get hurt every week.
Brilliant.
So I know. I don't know what else to say about that. So FanDuel's been great. And then the sleepers come out tomorrow. Rankings will be updated before tonight's game, and then also on Sunday by 12:30.
Very good at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, at Fans Fantasy on Twitter if you didn't get your question in. Supercharge your computer skills with beginner to advanced classes at CCBC. All tuition free if you qualify. 443-840-4700. Thanks to Wise Markets, CCBC, the U.S. Army, Glory Days Grill for making the show happen each and every week. KZ, I will see you next Thursday, pal.
You will.
Of course, we will see you tomorrow morning for Glenn Clark Radio at 10 a.m. Have a great week. This has been the PressBox Fantasy Football Show.